From the moment he stepped into the crowded diner, James felt a tug in his chest he couldn't ignore. There she was, his adoptive mother, wiping tables and smiling at strangers, completely unaware that he had become a millionaire overnight. His heart sank as memories of her sacrifice flooded back. The nights she stayed up sewing his clothes, the days she went without so he could have, the gentle encouragement she never stopped giving. Now, seeing her struggling in plain view, James felt a mix of admiration and sorrow. He remembered how, as a child, she had taught him that hard work and kindness mattered more than wealth. But today, wealth wasn't enough to erase the sight of her worn hands and tired eyes. He hesitated at the entrance, unsure whether to call out or quietly slip away. The sounds of clattering dishes and distant chatter filled the diner. All he could hear was the beating of his own heart. He knew that one moment could change everything, not just for him but for the woman who had given him everything. He stepped closer, his mind racing with what he could do to turn this ordinary day into a story she would never forget. James approached the counter, trying to keep his composure, but the closer he got, the more he noticed the small details, the faded apron, the careful way she arranged the condiments, the quiet hum of her voice as she greeted customers. He realized she didn't complain, didn't show frustration, but there was a weight in her shoulders that spoke volumes. He remembered all the nights she had sacrificed sleep and comfort to ensure he could chase his dreams. Seeing her now, so humble and selfless, triggered something in him he hadn't felt in years. A deep, aching gratitude and a desire to repay her in a way he never had before. He took a deep breath, thinking about the fortune he had amassed and how insignificant it would seem compared to the lifetime of love and dedication she had poured into him. Watched her interact with strangers, he wondered if she ever allowed herself to hope for anything more than the small joys of daily life. It hit him that he had the power to change everything, starve or total, but he needed to do it in a way that reflected the love and respect he felt. A plan began forming in his mind, one that could turn this chance encounter into a memory that would last forever. James decided to stay, pretending to be just another customer. He ordered a simple coffee, careful not to draw attention, yet his eyes never left her. Each moment brought new realizations. The strength it took to smile through exhaustion, the humility she carried, and the unconditional love that had shaped his life. He thought back to the first day she brought him home, the warmth of her embrace, and the promise she made to always stand by him. Now, that promise seemed to echo in every gesture she made. James noticed a young girl nearby, struggling to reach a plate on the counter. Without hesitation, his mother lifted it down for her, her kindness extending even to strangers. James felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes. He realized that the woman who had given him a life of love and guidance had never let her hardships define her. In that moment, he vowed to honor her in a way that words alone could never express. The decision was made. He would act, and the impact would be life-changing. As James stepped closer to her, he felt a mixture of nervousness and determination. He didn't want to just hand her money or try to buy her gratitude. He wanted her to feel the recognition she deserved, the acknowledgement of a lifetime of sacrifices. He imagined her reaction if he surprised her with something she would never expect, a gesture that would affirm her worth without diminishing her dignity. His mind raced with ideas, but he knew the key was authenticity, showing her that his success wasn't about wealth alone, but about honoring the woman who had given him everything. He approached the counter, his voice steady but soft, calling her name. She turned, and for a moment, her eyes reflected a mixture of surprise, confusion, and cautious hope. The diner seemed to fade around them, leaving only the bond they shared, unspoken yet deeply understood. James realized that this encounter, simple as it seemed, held the potential to change not just her day but the rest of her life. Her eyes widened as James revealed who he was. Recognition dawned slowly, followed by a rush of emotion, shock, disbelief, and finally, an overwhelming joy. Tears streamed down her face as she struggled to find words, but James simply held her hands, letting the moment speak for itself. He told her that her sacrifices had never gone unnoticed, that every sleepless night and every small act of love had shaped the person he had become. The diner, once bustling with strangers, felt still as they shared this intimate reunion. Patrons watched quietly, sensing something profound in the air. Full in the air. James made a promise, not just with words but with intention, to ensure that she would never have to endure hardship again, to give back in a way that reflected her endless devotion. She smiled through tears, a mixture of pride and disbelief, as if trying to comprehend the reality of the moment. James, it was more than a reunion. It was an affirmation of love, a full respect, and gratitude that could never be quantified. Over the next few days, James worked quietly behind the scenes, arranging everything so that her life would be transformed without embarrassment or discomfort. He reached out to friends, set up opportunities, and ensured her comfort and independence. Meanwhile, he spent time reconnecting, learning more about her life than he had ever fully understood before. Each story, each memory shared, deepened his respect and love for her. He marveled at the way he handled everything. His thoughtfulness, humility, and the care he showed not just with money, but with heart. The woman who had once worked tirelessly for his future was now witnessing the results of her own sacrifices in the most extraordinary way. And yet, even in the midst of this transformation, her humility remained intact. She still found joy in small acts, still offered kindness to strangers, but now with the peace and security she had long deserved. The day came when James revealed the final surprise: a fully renovated home, financial security, and the freedom to live without worry. Yet the greatest gift wasn't the wealth, it was the acknowledgement of a lifetime of love and dedication that she had poured into his life. She embraced him, tears flowing freely, gratitude spilling over in ways words could not contain. James realized that the true power of wealth lay not in possessions, but in the ability to honor and uplift those who had shaped him. Her smile, radiant and genuine, reflected not just joy but a life transformed through love, recognition, and respect. As they sat together, sharing stories, laughter, and quiet moments of reflection, James understood that some acts of kindness echo across lifetimes. And in that moment, both mother and son knew that what had started as a simple encounter in a diner had forever changed the course of their lives.